Learning Zili Nishmas Etta Ahuva Basak and Masachas Gitin Perches Mishna Beis. Amala Kinsi Shtar Chayv Ze Oishematzasa Me'achurav. Either he tells her that it's a Shtar Chayv, or she takes it from behind him. She doesn't realize it's a get. And the Gemara explains it has to be that he bends over and she takes it that way, so he's giving it to her. Otherwise, if she just takes it out of his pocket, then there's no nesina. It's felt until he has to give it to her, not that she takes it from him. But in this case, he did give it to her, but she didn't realize it was a get, and now she realized it's a get. Ain't a get, it's not a get. He has to tell her, here is your get. And similarly, Nasam biyada v'hi when he gave it to her, she was sleeping, and then Ura kaira vareu she wakes up and she realizes it's her get. Ain't a get, it's not a get. He has to tell her hagitach. The Gemara is mashma, the Mishnah is mashma, like Rebbe, that if you would now say hagitach, now it would be a get. But the Gemara brings up Shimon Elazar, argues and says that it's not, at this point it's not going to be a get unless he takes it back from her and gives it to her and says hagitach. Taisa says that besides saying hagitach, you have to tell her reyat muteres l'chol. She has to know that she's divorced and she cannot come back to him in order for it to be a get. The last halacha of the Mishnah is haisa imedus b'shus harabim v'zarkula. If she was standing with Shus harabim and he threw it to her, so then it depends. Karav lo, if it's closer to her, she's megureshes. Karav lo, if it's closer to him, ain't megureshes. Mechsa, it's megureshes ve'ein megureshes. Then it's a suffix. The Gemara says, what's the case of karav lo? So the Gemara brings four shitas. The first shita is karav lo is within his forearms, karav lo is within her forearms. And mechsa, according to that, would be that there's straight kitei edim. One says karav lo and one says karav lo. The Rabbi Yochanan says that karav lo is even 100 amas away, but as long as it's closer to her. And Rabbi Sham bar Abba says, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, that karav lo is that he could watch it and she can't. Karav lo is that she's able to watch it and not him. And mechsa is either they could both watch it or neither of them could watch it. Taisa says if neither of them could watch it, then it shouldn't even be suffix megureshes. Why is the megureshes b'chal if she can't watch it? Taisa explains the Gemara means to say that neither of them could watch it on their own, but together they were able to watch it. So that's why it's a suffix megureshes. And the last sheet in the Gemara is that it's only a get if it's close enough to her that she could bend down and pick it up. And even then, the Gemara says, Atle savet uvda, you should only make me megureshes adamati gita liyada. That you should require the get to be given directly into her hand. Mishnah Gimel, v'chein le'inyan kedushin, v'chein le'inyan hachayv. And the Mishnah explains the case of chayv, that amar loy bal chayva, if the bal chayv tells the malva tells the loiva, Zrogli chayvi, pay me back. If it's zarak loy, the loiva throws it back to the malva. So if it's karav the malva, it's closer to the malva, zachar loiva, that's a good payment. Karav the loiva, haloiva chayiv, then it's not a good payment. He has to make sure it gets to him. Mechsa, if it's half and half, then it's shneim yach loiku. The Gemara gives a ukimta over here that really the case of chayiv does not work. The only time that you say that karav lo works is only by gerushin, because gerushin is bal karcha, Rashi explains, but by anything else it wouldn't work. Kedushin works because it's a hekesh from kedushin to Gitin, because the pasuk says v'yatza, she gets divorced, v'haisen, she gets remarried, so we're always makish gerushin to kedushin. And chayiv is an ukimta that the case is that the malva told the loiva, pay me back my chayiv b'toyres Gitin. Let it have the halacha of Gitin, that if it's karav to me, it will be a good payment. The Mishnah continues, if she's on top of a roof, zarkula, he throws the get to her. As soon as it's in the air of the gag, it's megureshes. So the Gemara asks, minter, it's not watched over there. So the Gemara says to Rutzim, either it's talking about a gag that has a fence, so it's within the fence, or it's within 3 tvachim of the gag, so you say laved. In the next case of the Mishnah, hula maila v'hila mata, he's on a higher floor than her, and he throws it down to her floor. V'zarkula, kivin sheyatzim rishus hagag, as soon as it leaves his rishus, nimchak oy nisaf, now it gets erased or burnt. She didn't even get it, but it was in her chatzar. Haya parezu migureshes, it's still migureshes because she's kind of with chatzar. So again, the Gemara asks about minter, it's not washed, and the Gemara gives an ukimta that it's talking about that the mechitzas hatachtoinus, where she was, the walls of the bottom went all the way up, higher than the higher floor where he was, so he threw it over, it's higher up, and then as soon as it goes over the fence into her property, it's mishtameres by the walls. One other ukimta that the Gemara says, when we say over here that even if it gets burnt, it's megureshes, it's dafka talking about that the get was in the rishos before the fire was there. But if the fire was already there, so then we say meikar l'sreifa ka'aza, we look at it as if it's already burnt and it would not be megureshes.